There's a couple of ways that zoning can work in your favor. So the first one is that you want to look at the zoning ordinance, because what they say in the zoning ordinance is actually very simply what the municipality or county wants to see on your property, which means they'll be working with you and in your favor if you bring them one of those uses. So let's say, for example, that you own a 30-unit apartment building and it's got a bunch of extra land. But when you look at the zoning ordinance, it says that you basically have as many apartment units that you can have on that property, but it's a mixed-use zoning, and maybe they want to see some retail on the street front and you have some extra land there. So if you bring them some type of retail, they will work with you, and it'll mean more money in your pocket for probably less work than just building more apartment units. So that's a great example of how you can use zoning in your favor and give the township or municipality exactly what they want to see. The second thing that you can do is that when you're looking at the zoning, keep in mind that it's there to protect your values. And it can protect your values by limiting competition, which initially sounds bad, right? But the truth is, when they say you can only build apartments here and you can only have industrial over there, then they're limiting other people from coming in and building more of those types of properties, which could potentially push your rents down if you own a property in that area. So it's protecting your values essentially by limiting competing properties, and that'll help to keep your rents higher, which means more cash flow, of course. And it'll protect your property values by keeping it nice. So if you've ever been to an area where they didn't have zoning, like I have some family that lives in Montana, some of those areas don't have any zoning. Sometimes it's nice and other times not so nice, depending on what the neighbors, how they maintain it. So a property and zoning value, it'll help to protect your property values when they say, hey, neighbor, you can't park a whole bunch of junk cars over there, and you also can't lease that empty garage to a biker gang, and consequently bring a lot of trouble to the neighborhood. So the zoning's there to help protect your property values. The third way that zoning can help protect you is by making sure that you can have uses that maybe are not specified. So what I mean by that is oftentimes a lot of modern uses, like think about a lot of things that are now being talked about a lot. Data centers, crypto mining, electric EV charger stations, that type of thing. That's like, they didn't even think about those things 10 or 20 years ago when a lot of these zoning ordinances were written. But a lot of case law has stipulated that while zoning is legal, they also can't say that certain uses are completely removed from a township or area just because they don't allow for it, or maybe they don't like it. So they need to accommodate it, not necessarily on your property, but they need to accommodate it somewhere in a zone within that district, that county, or municipality. So let's say, for instance, you have an empty garage on your property and you have someone who wants to do crypto mining in that garage. Well, your zoning probably doesn't say that it's permitted, but if you go to them, show them that it might be a valid use for that property, they need to allow and accommodate that use. So that zoning can actually work in your favor by providing for that use, even though it's not actually written into that zoning ordinance yet. So those three things, remembering that the zoning ordinance tells you exactly what they want, the protection in value by limiting competition to some degree, and providing for uses that are not actually written into the zoning ordinance, can help to all protect your property values. So if this video brought you some value, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for investment properties within central Pennsylvania or Maryland, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. Or even throughout the U.S., we can partner with you through our CCIM network to help you get expertise throughout investment properties here in the U.S.